Welcome back, everybody, to the BSDF1 podcast with your host, Josh George, my co-host, Josh Bronson, and my two idiots, Leo and Ryan. How are you doing? You all good?
All good, bro.
We're all good, mate.
All
Can
good.
I just say, I think that's the first good intro we've ever had.
It was actually an intro, wasn't it?
It was actually an intro.
Actual six, because I've got the George Russell t-shirt on.
That's what
guys, we've had a race in 2023. How exciting.
It wasn't though, was it?
It wasn't. I think the most exciting part of it was when Alonso and Hamilton actually met on track.
Yeah, for the first time in like 13 years in equal machinery, because that
Comparing
Mercedes
that.
is dog.
Alonso was just an animal.
Yeah, that was insane, wasn't it? It was such a good race. I really enjoyed it. Now,
I enjoyed it because it was the first race of the season, but if that was like third or fourth in the season, I would have said that is the most boring race ever.
no, I don't think
I
so.
didn't really enjoy it that much.
There was
Not a lot
so
happened.
many other races, especially last year, that were just super processional, bit lame, bit boring. There was overtakes. There was. I want to put something out there right away already. Everyone can agree with this. Q1, Q2, Q3, bar Red Bull. Everybody was nearly a second within each other in Q1. How crazy is that?
That was insane to be fair.
That is.
I didn't watch qualifying.
Even
But can we
Leo,
just-
who's watched F1 for 45 years at this
But
point,
can we just put
Has
one
never seen
thing
that
on the
before.
table?
as long as it's a glass of water.
Well, yeah. How the hell was Verstappen that far in front and having issues and still stayed out that far in front?
Greatest driver of all time.
Well, apparently, in the press conference afterwards, he said that he's had that issue for a long time, sort of like circa 1 year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The braking, the back.
But did they not have it last season at the beginning? Is that not what took him out of
I just said,
Bahrain
yeah,
last season?
yeah, it's had it for about a year.
Oh, so that was in last season as well. So I thought that was what.
I can't remember if that's what took him out or it was the.
It wasn't taken
I'm
out,
sure
but
it's
he's
a
had
fuel
that
injection thing,
issue.
wasn't
He
it?
tried to fix
Yeah,
it. They
fuel
tried, well, they
injection.
tried to fix it.
Because I thought the rear axle locked on him last season as well at Bahrain, which I was really hoping would happen this season, but unfortunately,
I was like right at the end. I was like, "Can't both of the Red Bulls just like last time. Just stop."
I was
just stop
waiting for
working.
Sergio's electrical failure and Verstappen's mechanical failure.
It would have been an Alonso win.
Oh no.
It would have been an
Well,
Alonso
yeah.
win.
I mean, Ferrari weren't going to win it, were they?
Ferrari immediately. Ferrari again.
Instantly out the gate, engine failure.
It's just mad, isn't it? What are they doing?
It's the fact he took two new components as well and
Yep.
still retired.
Yep.
You know, he's had the first of two yearly things in one race. Wasn't even a race after qualifying.
Qualifying.
Didn't
He got
get
it
through
after
the race.
qualifying, and then it failed in the race.
Well, did you
What are they
hear,
gonna do
though,
now?
at Quali, though, they turned down the engine mode because they were worried that it was going to break. So clearly there's definitely a problem
Really?
with Ferrari, yeah.
Oh,
There's an
Ferrari.
underlying issue there somewhere that they just
There
can't
is a
figure out.
problem. And that might be the
Yeah,
reason
that
why science isn't
2019
as
engine
fast. Could be.
No,
Yeah.
that's not the reason.
I mean,
It
is
could,
also
it
good
could,
as science.
it could be playing a fact, but it is,
Yeah, I think it could be playing a fact.
It's
Yeah.
just science being science.
Yeah.
You can try and have as much copium there as you want.
But do you know what I was surprised with? We didn't see signs going backwards once in the race.
No sign spin.
Because it's belly
That was quite good.
Do you want to know
there's
here's
belly and gravel there. That's why.
here's another
No
really
gravel.
interesting thing, and maybe a little bit spicy sauce. No one cares that Sebastian Vettel wasn't on that grid. Like, everyone was so upset last year, and we were all upset that Sebastian Vettel retired. But as soon as that race started, forgot he even existed.
Yep.
Yeah, but
Then
that,
I think-
that happens
Mad.
a lot. Like people were saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, we're going to miss Raikkonen and all that," and then last year,
It
no
was-
one cared.
Yep.
It was just the Twitter feed going on when it was Daniel Ricciardo absolutely laughing his head off now looking at McLaren. But Sebastian
Yeah.
Vettel's sitting there crying because they've got a championship
Yep.
winning car.
That's got to feel rough. Choose the wrong time to retire. That's got to feel
Literally.
rough. It's got a warning from my headphones telling me that they're critical battery. Excellent. That's what we love to see. I'm about to talk for an hour.
Nice.
But yeah, it's like it's so embarrassing for McLaren at the moment, right? Like, Ryan, you're a McLaren fan, so how do you feel?
Slight, slight McLaren fan.
Slight
all
McLaren
year.
fan.
Oscar Piastri, fair enough. I don't know what happened there. Just had a failure and then came in, fair enough.
Yeah, couldn't
What
really
the
prove himself.
What were they doing with Lando Norris? They should have just brought him in on the second pit stop when that thing started deflating. Why
I
did
think they were
they?
just getting more laps, just understanding the car
Well,
more.
fair enough. They were trying to.
He says a practice session.
But,
McLaren just turned up to practice 4.
yeah, they were just collecting data basically. They're having a practice 4. But why did he pit nearly? Was it 6 times? I think in the end.
5.
5 times. Oh,
Well, at least they
need
got
to
some
sort it
good.
out. They're the only team. Carry on, Josh.
Well, they got some good pit stop practice.
Well, yeah.
Didn't Lando say that in a presser afterwards?
Oh, you
Probably.
probably
In a media pen. It was like, team had great pit stop practice today. It was,
hydraulic gas, wasn't it? They're refilling. I think.
Yeah, hydraulic gas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's mad though, like
Crazy.
how McLaren have dropped the ball so hard.
Well, it's like I was saying, they're the only team to have gone into a development's like winter, and they've managed to go backwards in their developing.
Classic McLaren though.
They also did that with the
Classic.
livery as well, though. They've completely fucked that up.
Well, yeah, their
Gone
entire
backwards on
team's
that.
just gone. We're going to go backwards this time. Do
you reckon it's because-
see how that works?
It's because of the amount of Google Chrome images that are on that
Probably.
McLaren that it's still buffering.
Have you seen one of their liveries is actually a like a TV screen almost? It
Yeah,
changes.
that's
Yeah,
good.
with the
Oh.
sponsor things on the side.
Yeah,
It's
that's
So
so
cool. If only they were up the front of the grid and not at the back.
it's
to be
only
able
you
to
could
see
actually
that.
see.
Yeah, that won't last very long.
One
will
in the
it?
garage. I mean, it was a smart thing from Lando Norris to push the car when like he saw that battle was going on. And even though he's a lap down, he's following that battle. Like, I'm getting the sponsors right in there. He knows, he's a good little marketing brain. He's got marketing
good
head on.
PR training there.
Content brain going big
Yeah,
time.
literally.
It's like the sponsors were like this, like I'm sticking with them. It looks like I'm fighting. So every picture that is just showing that looks like McLaren's in fourth.
Can we quickly,
80.
It's when Crofty was like, "There's Lewis Hamilton and Alonso battling, and there's Lando Norris in the back."
Yeah.
can we quickly go to the comment Josh made earlier today about Piastri?
I was going to bring that up actually. Though.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
It's,
want to hear
this
this again.
Hot takers.
This is an interesting, a very interesting, uneducated, anything take. But
This is a
Josh, you
DTS
have the
opinion.
floor.
This is a DTS opinion, isn't it?
Yeah. This is hard DTS.
Well, can I just give some context around it? Like, I've not seen Piastri
You're
race
going to have to. You're definitely going to have to give context.
any
to
of
this one.
the junior categories, and I don't think he's going to be any better than Charles, to be honest, or Mick Schumacher. So, Oscar, you made the wrong move, mate.
You threw Mick Schumacher in there as well.
Yeah, fuck it.
Oh my God. Jesus.
At least Mick Schumacher's got a good name.
Oh, I think Schumacher got shafted by his car mainly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And he was in a dog
I think
house.
Schumacher got shafted by Twitter. Mate. That's what actually
Yeah.
happened. He got Twitter kicked. He got
I
Twitter
think
bullied.
if he got put into a better car, he would have had a not an unbelievable drive, but he would have still been a decent driver.
I mean, look at everybody will get back onto your Oscar Piastri nonsense in a second. But everyone was like, Hulkenberg put it in like, what was it, like P8 in qualifying or what, like
Yeah.
really hard to get and then finish like nowhere. And it was Haas had the most. I called it, and everyone called it race. Of where did Haas finish? Everybody
In the mid.
I didn't even see it.
13th and 15th.
Did they actually? Did they actually come onto the TV screen once in that race? Because I don't remember seeing them racing.
Oh
around
yeah,
that
when
track.
the bloke that tripped over the wheel on the pit stop.
Oh, no.
I saw
yeah.
that. Amazing. Just classic Haas moment. Classic Haas moment.
Sorry, I'm in the pit stops for 2 seconds, and that was it.
Yeah. Haas have the most boring lineup I've ever seen, and it's already proven that it's so mid and boring that even the TV presenters or the TV direction, which was terrible, again,
Yeah.
didn't even show it.
Alonso just about to overtake Lewis. Let's cut to Lando Norris, who's been lapped, going down the back straight.
It's like, yes. What's Lance Stroll doing?
It's the way Crofty tried playing it off. He's like, oh my God, there's no taking it. Oh, but let's look at this first. It's like, why would I want to see a back marker doing nothing?
Literally.
But Oscar Piastri is an incredible driver. And why do you think, Mr. Constant, why do you think that Oscar Piastri is worse, or if not better, better, wrong.
On par. Use golf.
On par with or worse than Guan Yu Zhou and Mick Schumacher? Why do you think that?
Well, I'll use Mick as an example because I remember he's a F2 and F3 champ, same as Oscar.
Yep.
I've not watched any of the races. I don't really watch junior categories. Don't really have time for it. It's what it is. And I don't think there's a lot of, like a bit, I said to Leo earlier, Leo's the only football fan here. There's been so many young football players that go to a big club and then their potential doesn't get realised and they sort of end up in they end up at a decent club and then they never really break the heights of what they've been said they're going to do. I'd use Martin Odegaard earlier on. Back in the day, I know you two won't realise what he was like, but he was going to be the next Messi. And Messi is huge. And in DTS, Christian Horner said could be the new Max Verstappen. And it sometimes isn't as clear cut as that with young drivers, especially the ones that, are, in my mind, they've got a bad attitude and where they've already cut ties with a huge car or team, an OEM like Renault. You know, these guys might be around for a while again in Formula One. McLaren might end up like Williams at this point with their car and their development angle, and like,
It seems like they're going that way again.
Well, and I just think that you never really know what you're going to do until the year's been up. But you know, as a young driver, you shouldn't burn bridges the way he did. And I know you guys were talking about like Fernando Alonso, but at the time, this is a 2-time world champion. Like he can sort of swing his dick around like that. Oscar Piastri hasn't got that. He's an F2 and F3 champ, same as Mick Schumacher. But at least he has a reputable name, got brands behind him.
The context,
Oscar's got fuck all behind him. In my mind,
the context you've got to remember with the Alpine debacle that happened is Piastri was supposed to have a race seat. It was in his contract that he had a race seat, and Alpine just ignored that and threw Fernando Alonso in, I'm pretty sure, instead. And then when Alonso moved, they're like, oh, no, Piastri, you can race for us now. No, don't worry about what we did, because Alonso was supposed to be staying for his second year. That was supposed to be Piastri's year. So it's kind of the same thing for yourself, is like you get in a contract with a client and that client says, oh, yeah, I'll do this for you for the next year, then you'll be in full term after that year. You're like, perfect. And then that client goes, oh, yeah, we said that second year that you'll be 100% in. Well, you're not going to be because we don't want you to be. What would you do? You'd go somewhere else. So Piastri's thing is quite a different circumstance where Alpine actually burnt the bridge with Piastri. Piastri didn't burn the bridge with Alpine. And then the difference between Mick Schumacher and Piastri is Piastri won F3 on his first season, and then he's F2 on his first season. Schumacher took 2 seasons to win in F3 and 2 seasons to win F2. So Schumacher spent 4 years in the junior F3 and 2 categories. So Piastri only spent 2 years. Zhou didn't win any of them, but he's a competent driver. But Piastri is in the ranks of winning F3 and F2 on his first year, just like Leclerc, Verstappen would have if he actually went to F2. Lewis, all of those drivers. Alonso when it was like GP, whatever the hell it was, and all those. I don't think it was those, probably like Formula Europe something Cup. But he's amongst that elk of drivers. That's why most people have a lot of hype for him. Plus, when you watched his season, he was really, really, really impressive behind the wheel. Unlike Schumacher's first season in Formula 2, and I like Mick Schumacher, but his first season in Formula 2 was a bit woeful. His second one was very good, and his first season in Formula 3, woeful. Second one, very good. So if you put him on a ranking system of statistics, you've got Zhou, Schumacher, and then Piastri. And then again, you look at other things like that. Logan Sargent, who I was saying he's a really good driver. Sergeant Logan. Yeah, his middle name is Hunter as well.
Of course it is.
Hunter. The most
so
American fella there is.
Logan Hunter Sargent.
Logan Hunter Sargent. I was like, wow, this
pretty
guy,
cool
can't wait for him to get to like Miami and stuff. He's from Florida as well, so they're going to lap. Williams are going to be like lapping up all that merch. You just know they are. Logan Hunter Sargent.
To be fair though, I hope it actually kicks off because I think that they need someone like that, the Americans, to get behind.
Yeah. And he's good. And
Yeah, he
he's
seems
good.
good.
Nearly out-qualifying Lando Norris by, a million.
They matched, didn't they, first qualifying?
Yeah, and
Like
you think
times.
Lando's got a terrible car, but Logan Sargent is a rookie in his first F1 season in a Williams.
Yeah.
And Lando Norris is on his 5th year with McLaren. And even though it's a bad car, he still managed to get it up into Q3. So you think, come on, man.
Oh, are we saying Lando Norris is overrated?
Lando Norris is washed, mate. Quote it.
Yeah,
He's washed.
he actually is
At to
washed.
see. See you later,
Lando
Lando
is
Norris.
Sorry, mate.
Get back on YouTube.
Yeah, but
kiddo.
Josh, you don't like Lando, so.
No.
I like Lando Norris. I think he's a great driver.
I think he'd be
Okay,
decent in
he's got
person,
to
but
be
I don't rate him. Don't rate him.
His driver personality is just not. It's not serious.
It's not clinical.
Like, do you know what? And
Well, that's that tweet, wasn't it? That childish, impish behaviour had to stop at
Yeah.
some point, and we saw it stop
Yeah.
in the testing and practices.
He's kind of brought it back
But it
though.
can't
He's
stop.
sort of got over his little half that he had over practice.
He's had-
now he's
He's had a little tantrum. He's had a
smacked the
little
wall a
punch
little
up
bit.
at the wall. The
Yeah.
wall has obviously won, and he's gone, I don't
Yeah.
want to do that again. Let's go back to my old self.
True. Do you reckon
To
he
be
went
fair
on
though,
like
Ryan,
Reddit,
sounds like-
secret Reddit account and just talked shit on?
It sounds like
F1
water
bank?
bottles are doing
That's
your
not
wrist,
me,
though,
innit?
mate.
Yeah, I know.
But what do you guys
Bottles.
quickly popping on to the other thing? What did Ryan and Leo start with? Leo, what's your opinion on the Piastri thing? Basically, do you agree with me where I think over a season he could well beat Lando Norris, like really close, like a Science Norris type of fight, or do you reckon he's going to sink because he's mid garbage, like Josh thinks?
I
what do you reckon?
don't think he'll sink, but I also don't think he'll beat Norris because Norris is a nearly race winner until he bottled it.
Yeah,
And then,
so is
I'm
Lance
staying
Stroll.
out.
but
Doesn't know the
no,
rain
I don't
enough.
think he'll beat Norris, but I don't think he'll sink. I mean, Josh is right with the Alpine stuff. Like it was bad what he did, especially with not, like you said, Alonso can do that. He can't.
Do you not agree with what I said though? With Alpine promised him something and then didn't deliver on that
Yeah,
promise.
but Alpine and Renault have never been good with their young drivers. Look, they keep chucking at Ricciardo,
And exactly.
Ocon, Alonso.
I mean, look at
So
Joe.
he was never getting a chance. But he was last year because they were going to bring him in for this year, weren't they?
Yeah, and then again, they kept Alonso.
But I think
And
he
didn't
needs
want to come
time. He needs time because he's got so much expectation on him.
How old
he's
is he?
He's not going to come in here and win it this year. 21?
Yeah,
So he's very
21, I think.
young.
Yeah,
I'm getting the
Yeah.
vibe from him though. He's a bit like George Russell when I watch all the presses before, like a bit robotic.
Tory.
bit of a Tory.
Yeah, proper Tory. I don't know if that's right or not. He kind of, I get the impression he's a bit of a geek. He just sits around like.
Yeah, I mean, to be
Doesn't
fair,
do
most
anything other than
F1
races.
drivers are all geeks.
No, but not
think
like
it's probably
it's like
only
George
Lewis
Russell. That's what I'm talking about, like that kind of type. Or stiff.
Quite uptight.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Not geek.
I'm honestly not sure, to be fair, with Oscar Piastri. I think if we wait for him to get a decent car, then I'm going to make a decision. Because at this point in time, you can't really make a decision when he's done, well, not even half a race yet, properly
Yeah.
in F1, and he's been retired. So I personally can't just go, I think he's going to be an absolute wash and he's going to bottle it. But I think once he's had a full race under his belt in a decent car that's not going to break down on him, then I'll make my choice and my decision of whether he's going to be up there.
To be fair,
I
there's
think
only
he'll-
4 cars to
Maybe
choose
in his
from. That's
second
good enough.
season, I think maybe in his second season, he'll be like the Lando Carlos battle. But I don't think he'll be up there with Lando this season.
Yeah. I feel like he could be. I think if McLaren can get the car developed, I watched his highlights in F3 and I watched most of the F2 season that he was in. And to watch him behind a wheel of a car that he's good with looks incredibly impressive, which is why people are fighting for him. Now, every team wanted that kid on their team. And Alpine lost him by dropping the ball. It's if they stuck with it and said, yeah, sorry, Alonso, you're 40 million years old. We're making way for this new young talent who's a rising star. Everyone thinks he's going to be awesome. We're going to get him in the car. perfect. But it was the whole thing was just a mess. Thanks to Alonso causing chaos as usual.
Well,
But
to be fair, it's Vettel, wasn't it?
it was
Vettel
just a
caused all
massive
that
mess.
shit.
Yeah.
Vettel retiring.
And Alonso must have seen something in that Aston Martin outfit that made him go. I mean, he said in
It's
the
here.
end
Look,
of the
look, it's
DCS
there.
thing,
Look,
didn't it?
look, it's that. Oh, lots of it. Money.
What's that? I can't. We're camera. Oh, okay. Your camera is so blurry. I couldn't see what you had. We brought the Bible out. But yeah, no, big racks. But then of course he's also got a very good car underneath him, and which I think, let's all quickly put a vote out right now. I think it's the second best car on the grid right now.
Oh, 100%,
fastest,
no
yeah.
word of doubt.
It seems.
Second best car on the grid. Easy. If Ferrari tuned up their car and stopped it from bloody engine failing every time it comes to like the last 5 laps of the race, the car just goes, oh no, I'm scared. The finish line's coming. Then I think they'd be in contention with Ferrari of the second best car, but I think at the moment they have the second best car.
What about you, Leo? What do you reckon?
I think Ferrari have still got the second best car, but you're right. The reliability is just a massive problem, innit?
Yeah.
That's why I couldn't say Ferrari has the second best, because they don't have the reliability that Aston Martin had. That car was flawless. Everyone else was saying their tyres are gone, they're slipping about, and Alonso was still pumping in them times.
Yeah, he was like, this car's so lovely to drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, for Alonso, he must finally he's made a good move. Since
GP2 engine, GP2.
Yep. No more of that.
But it just shows how
brilliant.
good that car is when Lance Stroll with one wrist is finished
mate.
just a second and a half above Russell.
Yeah.
When Alonso and Stroll smacked into each other at the beginning, I was just like, and there we go. How planted was Alonso's car, though, when you saw that replay?
It looked like
He just swung in, didn't he?
it looked like my car on the F1 time game that we play. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, that was good.
That's great. What is Ryan's internet is
But
the actual worst.
I'll continue. I'll get what he means, because like you had him, and then you had Sainz as well. Like Sainz and Alonso hit, and then he was just solid. It just didn't look like it was moving.
Yeah, it was such a planted looking machine.
Oh, look how his camera's frozen. That's
so
pure
weird.
thumbnightmare content.
That is big fun.
That's
now.
nightmare
That is,
fuel,
that
more
is a
like.
great one. That's so clippable. Is he raging on the Discord? Let's quickly.
No,
take
he's got
a 5-minute breather and
he's
have
got a
look.
power cut, so he's got to move on and wait for him to rejoin.
Power cut. But how's his Discord online?
I don't know.
And it doesn't say he's on his phone. It says it's on his computer.
Who the fuck
Ryan
even
talking
knows?
absolute macca once
Yeah.
again.
Proper dude
We're gonna have a
Brown
quick-
again.
Big doo Brown merchant. Classic, Ryan.
Right, if we're going to take a break, can we just talk about how United got battered 7-0 last night?
No, we're
No,
not.
we're not going to talk
football,
about
mate.
that just yet, Leo. No, we're not. We can't talk about football. Although, if you're a United fan, I feel so sorry for you.
I don't.
Because
I don't.
I don't watch football, and I watched Match of the Day to have a look at that, and that was disgusting. Oh, my God. But the quick segue that we're going to take is, if you are listening to this podcast on any platform, please comment, because we love to see what everybody's opinions are on the races and stuff that we talk about. So please leave a comment if it's on the YouTube. If it's subscribe to us, hit the notification bell, send it to all your friends and anybody you know who's interested in Formula One, who also wants to get into it as well, and just listen to a couple of British morons waffling about biased teams. If you're listening to on the Spotify and Apple, is it called?
I thought you could go Sky Glass then for a
Yeah.
moment.
Well, this is the
If you're listening on the Sky Glass platform
and Apple, if you press the red button right now, you can follow along with Josh on his absolutely terrible takes of Oscar Piastri right now on Sky Glass. Yeah, so please follow us on all of them platforms. Make sure to like and all that sort of good stuff. Thank you for the little halfway segment, quarter-way segment, 25 minutes. It is what it is. Yeah. Not talking about football, though. We're not going to talk about football, Leo.
No football, Leo.
You're a Tottenham fan, so everyone will just unsubscribe immediately from the podcast. So it just takes a common Leo L 24/7 anytime it's about.
Inevitable.
Yeah, for the listeners, although you might not be interested, Leo got slaughtered again at badminton today.
I beat you both.
Well, out of how many games? Out of how many games did you win?
We're not talking about
I mean, no, we're talking about the games
don't
and the
know about
handicap games. Josh has one leg as well.
Yeah.
So
Not
he's still
actually
beaten.
got one leg, but
he's actually a pirate.
yeah.
He's a pirate. That's what he does. Hops
Jesus.
along, has his wooden leg out, and badmintons it. I know.
Right, if we're taking a quick break, can we talk about when Verstappen drove his car onto a little platform?
No, this
Yeah.
is part. That's not the break.
Holy
that's not the break.
shit.
That's
He
an actual
nearly
good
killed
break.
someone.
Like
Did you
that.
see where? Did you see where the
Brilliant.
vamp? Did you see where the vamp went?
Yeah,
Under
he
Perez's
nearly
car?
killed like
Yep.
half the FIA and it's in Checo's car. It nearly took out
So
as well.
stupid.
Why is that not mounted to the floor?
Yeah, it went under his car.
Yeah. He actually nearly
I think it was
zimmied
like
that.
last minute. They suddenly fall. Yeah.
But he went.
That
He
would
went
be
on
big
such a weird angle as well.
Yeah, it was
I don't
Max,
think
isn't it?
he thought
can't hit the apex.
that's what he was doing. Yeah, classic. That is classic Max. Yeah. No, that's a. It looks pretty, pretty embarrassing to be fair. And again, it's that stupid like modern Formula One. Let's put him on a platform. So just give them trophies. Let them spray champagne or fizzy pop, whatever that was on the thing, because it's in Bahrain. But just let them do
Just be
like,
normal,
normal
about it, yeah.
celebrations.
Just,
None of
just
this
have
stuff.
them free cars.
The thing that
Just
annoys
like
me is like, do you know
I
what
know.
really annoyed me? Verstappen couldn't celebrate with his team because he was on some stupid plimp.
Mm.
Like he couldn't hop out the car and go like, "Yes, lads, yes, boys, ha ha, yes, boys." Like that, he couldn't do any of that because he's stuck getting out the car.
Don't fuck smash my door.
Do you know what I miss? Do you know what I miss?
Don't fog smash door.
Like, I don't know if you remember, but when you had
Back in
obviously
1975, is it, Leo?
yeah, back in my day, you had the three drivers come out their car, celebrate straight up to the room,
Yep.
get there, like cool down stuff, and all right, all good. Come out, celebrate their trophies, and then you had the interviews on the podium.
Yeah, I love the podium interviews. That was like
It was
what
so
2017, 2018.
When did they get
had
rid of them?
those.
Sorry,
Wow, here he is.
Yeah,
This has got to
COVID.
be 4 or 5 years.
Oh,
No,
COVID,
before COVID.
do you reckon?
Yeah, I think it was.
20. I'm trying to think back to 2019.
It might not have been, but yeah, it's been a good 4 years now at least.
Do you remember when Vladimir Putin gave Lewis Hamilton a medal?
And he sprayed him. He sprayed him with
Sprayed him, put him in the die.
champagne.
That's great. That was good content. But yeah, why are they not on there? Because you used to have like Mark Webber go up and do it, Coulthard go up and do it, and some of the other random old drivers or influencers, basically. But you know what they'd do this time? It'd be like,
hang
oh my,
on.
who's up there this
Well,
time?
wait,
It's
wait,
Shaquille
wait.
O'Neal.
Wait, I swear they did that in Miami last year because they had
Yeah, probably.
Charles Chuck Leclerc was said at that moment.
Oh my god, that guy!
Yeah, that definitely happened last
He
year,
kept
wasn't it?
calling everybody champ,
Yeah, nice one, champ.
which is the most ironic thing.
Oh, I can't wait for the Miami GP so we
Hey,
can see our
champ.
friend Richard Mill again.
I'm here with my phone. That was so funny. I couldn't stop doing that.
I'm here, my
Roll
friend
with it.
Richard Mill.
I'm here with my friend Richard Mill. Who are you supporting? Lewis, you know, he's my brother. But
No,
I'm here with
Richard,
Richard
I'm
Mill.
here.
Calm down, dude. Pharrell Williams. Honestly, robot. Like
Imagine
actual
what,
AI.
imagine what Vegas is going to be like.
Do you reckon there's going to... Okay, just a prediction for Vegas before we carry on with this Grand Prix. I reckon there's going to be a lion somewhere. Just saying. They're going to get a lion or a tiger somewhere.
Yeah.
It'll be
There'll be a lion
It'll be
or a
Mike
tiger.
Tyson
Yeah.
walking it down the grid walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
There'll be... I can't wait. Martin Brundle stops Floyd Mayweather with his tiger.
Well,
Floyd!
to be fair,
Floyd!
though, I think you might
Floyd,
be
who
right
do you
with
reckon,
that.
Floyd?
I think you might be right with that because they had Horsey McHorse at the American one, so it's going to be what, Lion McLion or Tiger McLion.
Ryan McLean, yeah. I can't. I just want more content of Martin Brundle sticking microphones in people's face.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Can we talk
Talking about Martin Brundle
can we
sticking
talk
microphones.
about-
I'm going to get it before you.
Mercedes?
Go on. Oh, wait, not yet. We're not going to talk about Mercedes yet because that's going to be left to the bitter end.
Should we do
'cause
like a
it's
1 minute piece
depressing
on
as
Red Bull
anything.
about how they've wrapped up the title already then?
No, I've got a good Red Bull monologue as well. I was going to do a quick piece on how good was it seeing Jeremy Clarkson back in a Formula One race.
Oh, yeah, but
I
did you
thought
not
that was
see him
brilliant.
say it was infuriating for years, but now it's good again?
That's exactly what I said earlier.
Clickbait.
I think- but it was-
You guys got clickbaited.
Yeah. Classic Clarkson pulling another... Like,
Oh, it probably was just
big
classic
swing.
Clarkson, but it was just so perfectly timed from him. Just it was infuriating for years,
But again,
now it's good.
if you think the most frustrating thing is Lewis Hamilton's dominance and Mercedes' dominance also
Red Bull
ties
Vettel.
down to the most boring sounded cars that the grid ever had. At least Red Bull, you could hear V8s.
Yeah.
You know, and one of the most depressing things is even now when we went to Silverstone last year, you saw the F1 car before you heard it. Not good. You know, when that V12 came around and that the BAR, I think it was, that we saw that was going around Silverstone, you'd hear him like at Cops and you're standing at Vale and you think, and then it comes screaming past, you're like, that's cool. And he wasn't even going flat out. So I think that's what Clarkson means. The sport got boring and then it got even more boring because Mercedes created an absolute monster.
Leo was talking about earlier, he mentioned the Clarkson video where he sat outside of a pub just like shit talking F1. I think he's also talking about the FIA, like shit they did in the last couple of years.
100%.
Yeah. Because he was vocal, I believe,
He's
about
like, Ferrari
Michael Massey.
shit, their shit, get rid of them, their shit. Which is fair because from about 2000 and probably after Brawn, to be fair, after that year, it's been a bit from the FIA standpoint, it's been a bit shit.
Yeah, since Whiting passed away, basically.
Yeah. What year is
It
that?
just went down a cam. When did he pass? 2014?
No, 2018, I think.
Oh, was it actually that long?
Maybe not that.
Yeah.
I thought it was earlier than that.
Maybe not that then.
Oh, yeah, because Massey replaced him, didn't he?
And then he got
Chaos
booted.
Do you reckon last year would have been boring if Michael Massey was in charge? Don't think so.
Well, I think they should put
that man watches too much stuff.
He would just put everything in favour of Red Bull even more than what it was.
Yeah.
Well, I know he likes fighting for the underdog, which is Ferrari now. So
He would have got the Leclerc championship.
yep. Yeah, Max would have gone wide and he just like, yep, no, shoot his wheels.
Yeah, that's clearly a nudge into Leclerc.
Yeah, I think that was a little thing that I thought was quite nice. Go on,
imagine what Ocon would have got in the last Grand Prix. We got a 20-minute penalty.
20-minute penalty, yeah.
Mate, what was he doing? Did you hear him on the radio? He's like, I've been doing this for ages. Why the penalty now? You were speeding in the pit lane.
You literally went over the speed limit,
instant
mate.
penalty anyway.
And at FIA, you're like, oh, you've done this all the time. Let's go back and have a look at the last 6 seasons.
Wait, now have you got that?
Served
Have you got that
5-second penalty wrong?
No, he was outside of his box.
A 5-second time penalty wrong.
Yeah, no, it was the
That's how it
the
started.
box incident.
Oh,
yeah.
I was going to say,
and
because
then
Ryan
his
completely
radio
washed
came
that
on
right
like
up.
when it incriminated him, basically, made him look like an idiot. But I thought he looked the perfect example of a kid that's just got like the F1 game for Christmas, or like that's just come on Game Pass, and they download it and they play with a controller. They miss all the turns. They can't put it in the box properly. They speed in the pit lane. It's like this guy's literally like on an F1 online lobby. It's great content. Just seeing how many penalties you could get.
Rookie Ocon, I think, he's back.
Yeah, that's definitely classic Ocon, just trash garbage.
Yep.
I can't.
Always getting in the way.
Clip that arm.
Competent. Leo doesn't.
Wait
Leo's
for him to have
Leo's
another
like,
dub this year.
Absolutely raging.
Leo's a big Ocon merchant, and I don't know why. Because
I
you
like
like rooting
Ocon.
for
I
garbage
like
because of
Ocon.
Tottenham, so it makes
I like
Found
Ocon.
him out. Josh has
And
dug
again-
up the shit.
sense. I already got one of them, Ryan, when you were DC'd.
Oh,
I already
really?
got a good.
Oh, sorry.
Tottenham
Let's
roast
not talk about football.
All right.
Only when it's
Do
for
you
you.
want to eat your microphone anymore than that, mate?
God, coming from you, Ryan. Jesus,
Fucking hell, dude.
Took that microphone out of his throat if you try. So, Mercedes then, eh?
Need to put the side pods back on.
Well,
Yeah,
do you know
they-
what?
they
Actually,
need to.
I will interject everybody with Ryan Parker style
gonna disagree with
loudness. No, I saw a tweet
You can't be my loudest.
from 20 past 8, which we're filming this now at 20 to 7. Apparently, according to Motorsport IT, which is Italia, which is always a good source for news, it seems that James Allison has returned to active duty at Mercedes. The head of technical operations would have put his hand on the updates that should arrive in Imola. So he hasn't been working at Mercedes or doing that role for a couple of years now. So there's obviously some sort of crisis talks.
Yeah,
at
why did
Mercedes
he-
about that?
Yeah. No, that's big true. If that's happened, then yeah, they've got a.
But then where does that leave Mike Elliott?
Big.
Because he has put that car in the mud, and Toto has been swinging that axe for a little bit now.
Probably leaves
Yeah.
him over with Mike Crack at Aston Martin.
All the mics.
Well, to be fair, Mike Crack, he's done it though, isn't he? Let's be fair.
He has done it. To be fair, he has
Goated.
done it. He's gone in, he's seen it, and he's conquered it, and he's gone.
He's like, you know that Red Bull? Remember in 2019? Get that tracing paper back, boys.
Yep.
No, not 2019. What was it?
They
2020.
did just change their
Get
fucking
that
car.
tracing paper out. We're going to see that Red Bull again, but in green. Yeah. There's Leo looks like a psychopath. What are you doing?
I'm sitting there.
Yeah,
He's got a big
for
hot
the
take,
audio
hasn't he?
listeners, Leo is staring into his camera with his eyes wide open and his mouth like with his
I'm
thumb
just
in his
listening.
mouth.
I'm just listening.
You're still raging
Show
about
that bit in
Ocon.
Psycho.
I'm absolutely well mad.
Classic. Yeah, I think having what was it, James Allison?
Yeah.
It's James Allison? Yeah, I think having him come back, like you said, it shows that there's definitely crisis talks at Mercedes. And it's quite interesting, and I do not agree with Christian Horner a lot.
What? Just change
ever.
your fucking
But-
car?
Change
Well, I think
your
they actually
fucking
do
car,
need to change
then.
their car.
Now Christian Horner was correct, but but also the thing that I agree with him is if Toto is seeing for the first time actual loss. Toto's a serial winner, and he hasn't won anything, and he looks a bit desperate sometimes when he's talking. And this wasn't in. There goes Ryan once again, but this wasn't in the whole DTS stuff where they just dramatise. This is in the actual conferences and how Toto's kind of taking himself. Is he looks very exposed, looks a little bit compromised, and he's not showing that aura of, yeah, we're the best and no one is going to beat us. All that sort of stuff. It's now wait, we're not running races. Hang on. Hold on, let me get my calculator. Yeah, but why are we not running races? Because it says that we're fast. It's like, well, the car isn't fast. It's like, well, okay, fuck then. What are we going to do? And you're seeing this vulnerability in Toto Wolff that we've never, I don't think, seen before. And Christian Horner said that, and I think that makes a lot of sense.
Do you think from their perspective, though, especially with the design, that they may be clinging on to a bit of a stubborn way of doing it for a moment? And it's kind of there's clearly a way of doing it, which is obviously the Red Bull way, and Aston Martin have probably gone the closest to that. And who was the other team that did it relatively close last year, or started to, outside of Aston Martin? I can't remember the name. But there's clearly a design philosophy there.
I know Williams had a similar
I was thinking Williams, but I
idea.
couldn't remember if it was them or not. But there's clearly a design philosophy in this era of regs that works. Mercedes are the only team that does it completely different, and it's not quite there. If they were 2 seconds a lap faster, for example, in qualifying, and but their race pace was bad, you could argue there is something to work on there. But there is definitely something not quite right in practice. Definitely not quite saying they haven't got the really quick pace like a Red Bull has at quali, and their race pace just seems to be all over the place because they got no back end.
Yeah, they can't seem to hold on to a lap.
No.
And even in the hands of Lewis and George, who are incredibly competent drivers,
it did look
they
like
can't
for
seem
the
to,
if you just take last year's entire calendar and yesterday, it did look like Lewis had the edge of that car compared to George in that one race, where last year it was more
later half of the season, definitely. Later half, definitely Lewis. Early half, definitely George. But I think Lewis struggles with adaptability. If you actually look at his history, anytime he gets a car that he can't really get a handle of, he's not sunk, because he doesn't sink, but he's not been able to get the absolute performance out of that, where I feel like, here we go, I'm going to put a 10-second mute on all three of you for 10 seconds when I start saying what I'm going to say, okay? Right. So,
go.
Go. Unlike Fernando Alonso, who can get in an absolute piece of garbage and still extract every single bit of performance, Lewis Hamilton can't do that, but he's a better driver completely overall than Fernando Alonso. So that's one of the things that I think Lewis can't do very well in comparison.
Can we do a round of applause to staying silent?
That was incredible for all of you.
Yeah,
that was absolutely incredible.
I'm with Josh, they're just stuck in a rut of being stubborn. They're like, we want to try this no side pods. We want to get it to work, and we're not going to ever put side pods back on our car until it works.
I don't know if
And
it's just the
it's-
side.
and I-
I think it's a bit
and I
more than
just-
that, but there is definitely
It's,
something.
yeah, it's,
sort
it's
of
obviously the
philosophy
entire
behind
car, but I think
Must
the side
stay
pods
there.
are the major fundamental issue of that car.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's the philosophy.
Yeah,
isn't it?
because
So I also think
if they put
Go
the
on,
side
Leo.
pods back on and the car works,
Go, Leo.
Leo, you got to go. Ryan muted. Like that.
you know, I was thinking because they're so like good at innovation. You know, you had the DAS system, their low rake system, it all worked. So they're trying their best to make this work because they're known for their innovation, isn't it?
Yeah.
So now it's not working. They kind of just look.
Fucking hell! If they had
Terrible.
DAS on this
Yeah.
car, then it would be unreal because they would be warm. Have to get the back tires going as well. They'd be like that, snaking everywhere.
I always said, imagine if they had DAS on a W12. You know, imagine if they had low rake on the W12. Oh wait, hold on.
But I've got a question.
Anyway,
I've
let's
got a
forget about
question for all of you lot. Do you remember when the FIA clearly changed the regs to impact Mercedes' dominance on the sport? And I'm not saying they should do that this
Yep.
year or do it at all, to be honest. But there's clearly a gap now where the Red Bull is going to be the quickest car by some margin, and it's not going to make the mid. It's going to take the midfield even longer and harder to get to that gap. Like not just Mercedes, we're talking Ferrari as well. We're talking Aston. We're talking Haas. We're talking McLaren. We're talking, to be fair, we're talking all the teams. They have the same cost cap budget now as Red Bull, but Red Bull are already like what, a second or two quicker than all of these guys, maybe even 3 seconds. Some of the cars. These guys, in theory, need to spend more money to get to Red Bull's level, and that's only like Red Bull's level now. That's not Red Bull's level in a year's time. This cost cap thing is really going to go for Red Bull because they already have the car to be amazing. Like they don't have to reinvest that money, but other teams do. Do you see what I mean? I don't. It's a little bit like financial fair play in football. The rich teams stay rich because they have money, like PSG's, the Chelsea, Man City. These teams by default, teams like Man United, who have been around for a very long time, i.e. Ferrari in that case, but teams who want to get there, like for example, use
Haas,
Premier League.
best example, I always think.
Yeah, like Haas. They don't have the money to get there, but in football's terms, Haas are like Brentford. Big club in London.
Yeah, Brighton, something like that.
Yeah, they have money, but they can't spend it because their revenues don't match it. And that it's not a similar analogy in Formula One, but they can't get there because their budgets are still being eaten into.
The cost cap might be 135 mil, but if Haas is spending 90 mil a season, there's still a massive disparity.
Would you suggest, like, depending on the table at the end, constructor table at the end, would you like say that's your cost cap? That's your cost cap, and you go higher.
Do you know
the
what?
lower
That's
you go
literally
down.
what I was going to suggest because it's almost like the more you win in terms of the places, the smaller your budget becomes. So if you're 10th, it's a bit like that wind tunnel thing, but I don't think that achieves anything because if you're still, like Josh said, if your Haas is spending 90 million and your cost cap's 140, you're still like discrepancy 40 million because you don't have the money.
I think the wind tunnel thing does work because Aston Martin and Williams, as an example, they got the most wind tunnel testing, and look at the jumps that both of them teams have made.
But you got to remember that Aston Martin have that budget to get there.
Possibly high.
Alpine don't.
Aston Martin do have that now, but
for example,
I think one of the biggest things, money is obviously an issue. That cost cap will come down and down and down. The problem with a cost cap coming down means that we see less unreal F1 cars. And I guess imagine a W11 with no development. How much did DAS cost? Like 150 something mil or some stupid number to make. I might just be pulling that out of my ass, but I know it costs a lot of money to develop DAS. You won't see those anymore. And I think that's why like Mercedes probably think this is amazing. We just need another 250 million to actually make it amazing. We can't do that.
Yeah, it could work because
it could work with an unlimited cap. Yeah. Remember when Mercedes spent 480 mil or 780 million on a 2017 car or 2019 car? There's no chance of that happening. And I think Red Bull, with the low budget, Red Bull who have a giant budget, but I also still think some of the best technical minds in the sport can utilize that fully. And I think you're right with a scaling monetary system, but the best teams will attract the best minds to do the jobs. You don't see like, I'd love Adrian Newey to be like, Red Bull, I've been with you for what, 10 plus years? I'm going to go and give Haas a go now and see what I can do for them. You probably won't do that because he's, again, going to want to stay at the best teams. If Adrian Newey is a genius as he is, he was at Williams when they were the best, McLaren when they were the best, Red Bull when they were the best, or maybe not, when they were the best. There's so much that goes into it. It's really difficult. But I do also think, this is my last little point before someone else can jump in on that bit, is I think Red Bull, because of the drastically reduced testing that they get next year because of their cost cap infringement, because the catering team needed bigger tyres, I think, on the catering trolleys. They needed more tyres on the trolleys, on the catering things, I think, and a new ECU on the cooker. But the thing that will happen in 2024, I think Red Bull, if they win this championship, they get the least amount of time anyway, plus even more stuff lost because of that cost cap. So that's one of the things that I think is the biggest thing. What do you reckon?
Yeah, well,
Start with the earlier. I thought that was me, Josh. You were bloody messaging. I completely lost track of it all. Just a context for the listeners. Josh quickly messaged, Ryan is having technical difficulties again, as usual. There's a tradition. So he's messaging the Discord. Your camera isn't working and your mic isn't. I'm like, am I just waffling to no one again? I'm pretty happy with that. But
go on, Leo.
Sorry, as a sidetrack. That's what I think. Leo, open it up.
Well, with your first point, I think the 2020 Mercedes, the W11 was, I think it's over 300 million.
Yeah.
So when you're cutting that down by half, and not just that, all this 145 million or whatever it is,
135 now, I think, isn't it?
Oh, 135 is going into everything, not just the car. Obviously, like you said, the new power units into the microwave and all that for Red Bull.
Yep,
You've
very
got,
important.
I rejoined it all over power unit in a microwave. What?
You must think that must be Red Bull catering.
But yeah, no, so you've got that big difference. Obviously, they're trying their best to make this no side pods work, but when you've got over half...
Yeah.
Sorry, that sip threw me off, sorry. When you have over half the budget to work with, and not that, over half the budget has to do everything.
Yeah.
It's never going to work.
And I think it's Ferrari are having the same issues because MB and Ferrari were the ones that spent so much money on their cars. If you go back to like 2019 or 2018, it was Ferrari, Mercedes, and then quite a bit of the way down Red Bull, and then everybody else. And you think,
but the issue is though, right? These regs, we got to remember why they were created, and we're a season and a race in now, and what we have seen from these regs is meant to bring everybody closer. What we have found out is that the regs have made Red Bull untouchable, and everybody else is within reach of each other. So no one can catch Red Bull and that's sort of losing its sort of, that's what it's intended for. Like if Red Bull was winning and everybody was within a second of each other, you'd go bang on. That's exactly what we wanted. Crikey, mate, that's working. Because Red Bull are now in the first 5 laps of Bahrain, 5 seconds, or Max Verstappen, 5 seconds ahead of everybody else, you can almost say that they've completed it, mate, the regs, and everybody is now on catch-up. But no one can catch up as quickly as those because they don't have the development budget. They can't do upgrades quick enough. When every last couple of years has been upgraded after every race. Now we've got to wait 4 or 5 races in. And then what annoyed me, and I brought it up earlier on, was why are we waiting for an upgrade package at the start of the season for 4 or 5 races in for an upgrade? Why can't they just go live with it? But that's clearly a cost cap thing. So there's clearly something not quite right with the big teams or even the smaller teams. There's something that's not there yet that I don't think works.
Yeah, the regs are working, but they're working to a point. Like there's something in there there's fine tuning they need to do, and then just not doing it. They just need to have another look at the rules and the regs again.
The biggest thing that it is and it is the monetary value. You look at Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, and Aston Martin now can all hit that budget cap easily without even thinking about it. So look at where they are. But McLaren complain a lot about money all the time, and the other teams still can't get to that cap.
We can imagine though on that list though. We can imagine Audi's going to be on that top list as well, right? When they're there.
And exactly that. Audi would be on
and
the
they're probably
top.
already
If
going to be
Andretti
spending
come
money
in,
with Sauber, aren't they?
Andretti would be on the top.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it Alpine that put a post out about how it's going to be a real struggle to catch up with the top teams now? Now this cost cap's in. I think I can't remember.
Yeah, that's kind of I don't know if that's kind of where I've been saying because you need almost your cost cap and then the cost cap again to catch up with Red Bull because they're so far ahead.
Yeah. But it's
And
like
obviously
Leo
that
said,
doesn't
they
exist
should have
anymore.
like a diverse cost cap of
A sliding scale of a cup, not anything drastic, but like 1 million per position down.
yeah.
So if you start first, you get 135 million. If you get P2, you get 136 million. P3, 137, like that. So then if you finish 10th, you're getting 10 million more to develop your car. If you can't, unfortunately, hit that 10 million, get some sponsors, pull your finger out your ass. But it's like, there's those sort of things that I think need to be in as well, because obviously money is one of the most important things in the sport. But I also think opening the teams up, have more teams on that grid. I think 12 teams in my brain sounds great. 10 teams is not enough to also introduce talent into the sport. 20 places. It is the most exclusive sport on the planet because of the scarcity of seats. There are 9.8 billion people on the planet and only 20 can be Formula One drivers.
My issue with that though,
you've
right?
got more chance
never
of winning the lottery like 20,000 times.
My issue with that, I don't
Crazy.
understand why the teams and the FIA get so much control over that. Shouldn't it just be Formula One and Liberty Media that allow the buy-in to it? It's almost like you go to roulette at Vegas and there's already like 6 players and they all go, no, you can't be in because there's going to be more money for us. That's kind of like how it's working.
Yeah, but there's 2 seats.
But there's 2 seats available.
There's 2 seats over
but
there.
technically, how many? What's the legal
No.
rules? Like, you can only have like 28 cars. So technically, or 26 cars. I can't remember what it is. So there's definitely some people that can get involved. But
Well, I think
it's 26.
Formula 3 has a lot of... I think Formula 3 can get up to nearly 30-odd cars.
But the issue is,
because they all have 3 drivers each for all teams.
If you get more people in, you kind of diversify the upper echelons of the sport in terms of race drivers you can get. Because if you go out, you get them 4. Who are you choosing? That's not rookies. Like you've got Grosjean probably come back.
But they're not rookies for long. But you're going to get IndyCar drivers. You're going to get WEC drivers. You're going to get some other drivers from other categories that can come in, and then they wouldn't be rookies. I would bet you bottom dollar Sebastian Loeb behind a Formula One car is probably fucking rapid. Or I can't think of the bloody German dude that's won DTM like 1 million times. But
not the actor,
those drivers, they're never going to get to. No, not the actor. No,
he's not even German. He's German.
But those drivers are never going to get a chance to come in because there's only so little teams. But a team like Andretti will bring in Indy drivers, which will then open up IndyCar as a platform to get into Formula One as well. Audi are going to open up the possibility of some DTM, some WEC drivers to come into the sport. And I think that's having 2 more teams, having 24 cars on a grid, I think is good for Formula One. There might be too much, but have a team and only let teams in that can spend the cost cap. That's controversial. But if you cannot hit that cap, you're going to have to leave because you're not good for the sport. And it's the same way as if a Premier League team is only spending like 50 million a season or something, they're not probably going to stay in the Premier League for very long. As an example.
I don't know how it works, but teams in the Premier League get relegated, didn't they?
Yeah.
And that's sort of a thing they could do in Formula One. If you can't get out of...
Imagine.
If you can't get out of the 10th.
Relegated to Formula 2.
Like, Haas or Williams, fuck off to F2.
Amazing.
But
I think that might be a little bit hard.
Yeah. That could be a bit mad.
But it might get them to pull It might get them to pull their finger out, and Haas then might actually get some sponsors on their car instead of just having a car with money.
Just a question to
MoneyGram.
Just a question to everybody though: do we feel that obviously if we take Cost Cup out and all of that kind of stuff, do we feel like there's a sort of there's not enough people who work at these teams that are like god tier like designers and engineers at the moment? I feel like there's
yeah,
100%.
There's definitely like
half the cars on the track look like a 5-year-old drew them on a.
Well, no, not that kind of stupid take. Josh, make a note of the timing because that doesn't make no sense.
What are you talking about? That is the most
you said you wanted a shit talk. I'm shit talking.
Literally
that is
shit
true.
talk. But
Shit talking.
you've got
I'm literally doing what you said to do.
You've got Nui at Red Bull. You've got looks like James Allison back at Mercedes.
Shovlin.
You've got Chauvelin, doing
Andrew Shovlin as well.
Also at Aston Martin. I can't remember his name, but everyone's picking him up in the last couple of weeks.
James Vowles.
No, he's at Williams, isn't he? And he's not a designer.
Oh, he went to Williams, not Aston Martin. But he's also.
I get the feeling that there's not that at McLaren. There's not that at Williams. There's not that at Haas. We don't hear a lot from Ferrari's like aero guys and head engineers and all this kind of stuff. I just feel like there's a disparity against the really big teams with their big names that are also like almost Toto, Christian Horner level, Nui level. And then there's people that sort of hide away.
Yeah.
And I think there's a reason for that because they're not there. And I don't mean there's enough of them.
There. They're not hitting the upper. Yeah. No, it's a very good take. I mean, to roll us into a nice little ball here. The predictions for the next race for everybody.
Corniche.
Jeddah Corniche circuit.
Alonso P2.
Saudi Arabia. Alonso P2.
Max.
Okay, what about the winner?
Max Verstappen P1.
There we go.
Wait, before we move on to that.
Alonso P2.
Wait. We haven't talked about one thing.
Jesus Christ.
Every person since 2017 has been affected by this curse if you win the first race of the season. Max won it, which means he's going to finish second. Confirmed here.
It is actually a true
thing. Yeah, that is a good point.
17 Vettel,
but
18 Bottas, 19 Bottas.
But
Alonso dub.
That car
hopefully not.
Probably won't allow him to finish in second. But yeah,
anyway, Jeddah,
Max
on to
P1,
Jeddah.
Alonso P2, and I'd say even a fight between hopefully Leclerc, Sergio, and Hamilton for P3.
Okay, Josh.
Tydeg.
Your top three prediction.
Tydeg's better at this circuit, and I think Ferrari's going to romp on the straights.
Yeah.
But I think it might be Charles. Charles.
Say it in Fred's voice.
Charles,
say it in Fred's voice.
And Moo Carlos. No, I think Charles, Max, P3. I'm not sure. I think Checo. Charles, Max, Checo. But you could almost make a case for Alonso if the pace is still there. But you could almost make the case for Mercedes here as well because the tyre deck is good. The car is fast in a straight line, just not in fast speeding corners, and there isn't many of those. They slower speed quite a bit. So you could make a case for Mercedes being closer than it was in Bahrain.
Yeah. Leo, what about your good self? Your ice gem?
Max Leclerc Stroll.
Stroll. Oh, okay. There's the one. There's the one. To be fair, Stroll is rapid on a circuit with not a lot of corners.
Yeah, but there's walls there. So.
There is walls.
Yeah. So
he could do a Latifi.
Yep. Doo-doo brown into the wall.
No, Max Leclerc Perez.
George.
Yeah, mine is.
Alonso.
George Russell. No, I think it's probably going to be Max, followed up by Alonso, followed up by Leclerc, and then the rest is going to be what it always is. Either.
Wait, did you say Alonso second?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
MILF.
Yeah.
MILF.
I think that you see that car in a straight line at Bahrain.
That's why I said Alonso P2.
Because
I'd say
a
Max
fast
Alonso, circuit,
Leclerc.
and that car was absolutely screaming it down them straights.
Yeah, and this is again in the hands of Fernando Alonso, so it'd be a pretty good thing. But right, any other wild prediction for next week? before we end off the show for today?
Logan Sargent, P10.
Anyone? Wild prediction.
In Q3. Logan Sargent in Q3.
Logan
Oscar Piastri pulls his finger out and gets up into Q2.
That's not even a hot take. That is just that's gonna happen.
Normal take. Classic normal take. What was yours, Leo?
Stroll gets podium.
Stroll podium. I like that. That's quite cool. I'd probably say, and this is going to hurt so bad, but both Mercedes out Q2.
Oh, where did Hamilton go out last year? It was Q1, wasn't it?
Q1.
Yeah.
I was in the car on the way to a pub and heard that and turned qualifying off so fast. P18. It was horrible. Yeah. So no, both Mercedes out Q2. That would be my prediction. Right.
End on a sour
Gentlemen,
note.
thank you once again. Yeah, end on a sour note. No, Alonso's getting P2, mate.
Like that.
Going to climb. And then next race he's getting P3. Gents, thank you very much again for coming. Thank everybody for listening and watching, wherever you're listening and watching on.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
The season has finally begun. We got that like, comment, and subscribe. Leo, you say it as well, please.
Like, comment, and Stroll getting third next race.
Ryan, you say it as well.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Please.
Okay, I thought Ryan was going to go like Max Alonso. Wait, what we say?
No. Lando Norris P3.
Now, there we
I knew
There we go.
He's
That is
not
a real
slight
hot
McLaren fan, is he? He's a real McLaren fan.
No, he's truly in
I
there,
want Norris
down
back up
in
there. I'm joking. No, I do.
Desperate. No, you're not.
I do want him back up there.
I'm joking, I'm not. Guys, thank you very much for watching and listening as always. Please don't forget, as Leo said, to like, comment and subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow us on all platforms, link us to your friends, your family, your dog if he has YouTube, link us to everybody, get us in there, and let's say hurrah for a new season, and let's hope Red Bull don't run away with it by the 6th race. Thank you everybody for listening. See you in a week's time.
Yeah.
Bye. Bye for now.